Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to cover the trigger. I got the gun set up here and going to do a little different format. You basically remove screws on the cover plate. The safety has a spring and a ball, and this plate kind of holds that safety and ball in place for the detent for the safety. So when you're removing this plate, be careful because the ball and the spring can fall out. But if you just keep your tension on the safety, and I come into one of these ports here and I tilt it out and just lift it straight up, and now the little spring and detent that's right on this side here is all in place, and this plate will just cuff in the same way. I'll kind of put my thumb over it and I'll slide this down and this kind of pops into place. So, all right, so here's the inner working. I'm hoping this is going to be clear enough. We got our rod here. It's a bullpup, so your trigger's, not part of the shear or anything. You have a rod that comes up front and drops down. Now on your trigger, you'll notice when you cock it, there's the first stage can be really long and it's soft, and it comes to a shelf where you pull back and then it has tension on it. You can take this rod right here and literally take your finger and turn it. You can actually almost reach down underneath down here, or you can take a pair of needle nose pliers and you can just kind of give it little bits of bump, and you can take that first initial stage and almost get rid of it to where there's just very little take up on the and I like doing that. I like getting that to where my first stage is there's like nothing there. So when I put my finger on it, I just have to move my finger just a little bit. On the adjusters, we have our shear and our spring. Now the shear, the plus and the minus. So if you turn this counterclockwise, what happens is you're moving you're shortening the throw of it, so it gives you more shear, so you have more creep. So where the hammer and the shear is, you start pulling the trigger, it starts going, and then boom, the hammer flies. Okay, and so you're shortening that. That's what this initial screw does here. One thing I've done just to play with it to make sure that indeed that is in and out is I'll cock the gun and I'll put my adjustment into the adjuster and I'll start turning it and make sure there's nothing in the gun, it's empty, and your barrel's pointed in a safe direction, and I adjust it until the gun fires. Then I know I'm on the shear point, and then I'll back that out like a turn just to see how that feels, and then I know where I'm at, that right where I'm on the brake, and then I can turn and adjust that to get to brake. And quite honestly, with the spring, I've never messed with them. I've played with it a little bit, but you get some change and feel in it, but I kind of like it how it comes from the factory. You're kind of getting into that inf again of degree of adjustment. I just find it's fine where it's at. I just adjust my shear point. And then again, your rod here to get rid of that first initial. When you cock the gun, there's always that little bit of play. It could be like a 1/4 inch, 3/16 of an inch of travel in the trigger, and you can take that up to the point to where the trigger is almost firm. One safe thing to do is once you set your shear, I will make sure the gun's not loaded but cocked, and I will bounce the gun. I'll like bounce it on the butt of the gun or smack the gun to see if it goes off, because you don't want that. I mean, if you're on the bench and that's all you're shooting and the gun's always in a safe direction, but then again, you might accidentally fire around that you don't want to, and you'll hit the paper wrong and you'll screw your score up. I don't like harebrained, but anyways, that's just me and getting into my own opinionated side of adjusting the trigger. So basically that's it. That's the trigger in a nutshell. Got any other questions on it? Put it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them, and enjoy.